Welcome to the Divorce Do's and Don'ts show, the show that covers all phases and aspects of the divorce story so you can avoid common, costly mistakes and have a smarter, saner, savvier divorce. Please allow me to introduce our wonderful host, Lisa Decker, a certified divorce financial analyst, a real estate collaboration specialist in divorce, and the CEO and founder of Divorce Money Matters, and the host of this show, DivorceTown USA. So Lisa, what can our viewers look forward to today?
Oh, Marcella, thank you so much for that introduction. And I also want to make sure that everyone knows who you are, my co-host, my assistant extraordinaire, and dear friend in life, Marcella Kripe. I couldn't do all of this without you, and I'm so happy that we're sharing this show with everyone together. And so today we're going to talk about resources that people can find out there to help them dealing with their divorce. And first, we're going to talk about parenting, because we know that parents really grapple with the decisions that they make in divorcing and co-parenting, and how it's going to affect their children. So of course the entire family will have to make adjustments in the process as they transition into two households. But there are many trusted modern resources that can help, and today we're going to show you some of those resources, cutting edge resources that can help make life easier for you and your family, and we're going to show you where and how you can access them. So first, we're going to talk about, I'm a little tongue twisted today, guys. I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe it's the full moon. But first, we're going to talk about the ABCs of a parenting plan. And while I'm not a parenting expert, I will tell you that I have worked closely with parenting experts over the 15 years that I've been doing this work. And I've learned about a few fundamentals that can help you as you create and or adjust your parenting plan through your child's life. So the A is for making sure that the parenting plan is age appropriate and can grow and flex with your kids. So the best parenting plans are going to have a lot of flexibility to them, and also enough specifics that you won't end up back in court fighting things out. And that's why we highly recommend that you work with a parenting plan specialist. This is an area that many therapists are now doing, attorneys do, child specialists do. The B is back up, and that means that you have a legal expert review your parenting plan to comply with local statutes, because it's not the same everywhere you live, folks. And, you know, we should say that right up front here, that whatever information we give you on the show is general. You'll always want to consult with legal experts in your area to make sure that the information is specific to wherever you live. C is for count the cost. And, you know, a financial expert in divorce, like a certified divorce financial analyst, should review any financial obligations included in the plan to make sure that they are practical and sustainable. You know, you can agree to all the greatest things in the world, but if someone is not able to pay for those, you're going to find yourself back in court fighting your ex to have them comply, which they may never have been able to. So you want to make sure that whatever you build has the grace of a parenting plan expert putting it together, an attorney to consult with along the process, and a financial expert in divorce who can give you the hands up, the heads up, the thumbs up, whatever it is, in your parenting plan, so that you don't end up spending more later on. All right, let's see if I can get through the rest of this with my tongue in place. Yes,
no problem. I just wanted to cut in really quickly at this point, because it is true, and we're happy to see this, that more and more couples are starting with the parenting plan when they start the divorce process. They're not going straight to an attorney. They're not just fighting over the money right away, but they are putting kids first. And because of this, we support this decision. We support kids first types of divorces. But this type of backup with the attorney and also with the financial expert is super important to make sure that whatever parenting plan you're putting together is something you can actually follow.
Yes.
Because if it's not viable or if it's not legal, it isn't going to do anybody any good, especially the kids.
You are absolutely right. And thank you so much for adding that, because Marcella has been in the legal field as a paralegal for many years and saw a lot of these parenting plans and saw the aftermath of those that weren't done well or were unsustainable. So thank you for adding your experience there as well, your wise counsel. And now we're going to talk about co-parenting apps and virtual support, because there are a tremendous amount of great apps in this digital age and programs that are helping make co-parenting easier. There's so many options, but many of them, most of them offer these basics. So we're going to take a look at that. A calendar. A calendar is so important so that you can schedule out your year. And this helps keep both co-parents on the same page, rather than having to look through a text. When was Johnny supposed to be here? Or Susie supposed to be there? Where were they supposed to be, right? Who's picking them up? Everything can be calendared, and both parents can have access to that calendar through this online app and just keep everyone in the right place at the right time, making life so much easier as you go through the parenting process. Look, it's hard enough when you live in the same household to keep track of where everybody's got to be. So this is an invaluable tool for divorced parents. There's also a messaging feature, and this keeps all your parenting communication in one place, rather than going back and forth between emails and texts and phone calls. Everything, again, you open up an app and you can see everything that's going on and who's doing what, and be able to talk to each other there. And I also like the feature of the budgeting and expense log and tracking all of the shared expenses and payments. So many times people try to keep track of things that they are to be reimbursed for through, a pile of receipts and, emails, and it just, a lot of things get lost in the process. If you are able to keep track of all of things related to your children, including child support payments made or not, any medical expenses, extracurriculars, everything tracked through this app. It's wonderful, again, for making sure that each of you is paying your fair share or getting reimbursed whatever you're supposed to be. But it's also helpful if you end up having to go back to court so that you can show the judge that here is what was spent and here's what I'm due, or here was what I paid and I'm not due to pay anything more. It's helpful for both parties, so that in case anyone is not good with the record keeping, these apps can help you with that. And also coaching and working with a coach and having coaching programs. This is wonderful. At DivorceTownUSA.com, many of our coaches offer personalized co-parenting programs to help you through this part of your family's transition. And many coaches offer practical help and support for these types of issues. Maybe you're having a communication issue. Maybe there's something not working out with the kids that you need some extra support on. So, for example, Rosalind Sadaka, who is International Child-Centered Divorce Month founder, was our guest last week, and she often asks her clients, do you love your children more than you hate your ex? Take that in for a minute, folks. Do you love your children more than you hate your ex? I think that's such a profound question, and what a good place to start your own self-evaluation as a co-parent. So we encourage you to go back and watch that episode if you haven't had the chance yet. And for those who are ready to commit to a coach or a coaching program, DivorceTown USA also has a wide variety of articles and webinars from many of our experienced coaches and co-parenting experts. And you can read any of them, watch those videos at your leisure. We're here to bring you resources to help you make this journey easier. Being a parent is never easy, even when you're married and in sync with each other. But after a divorce, it gets even harder. So you've got to reach out for those resources that are available for you. And then
to interject. Sorry,
Yes, please.
Lisa, I,
No
I keep
problem.
interrupting you.
No, I
I
love
wanted
it.
to
Thank you.
talk a little bit about these two resources in particular, both the app, which is great for parents who do co-parent well because it makes the process easier, but it's also especially good for parents who do not co-parent well, because it puts everything kind of in one place. And sometimes you can get even high conflict parents to agree to split the cost for an app like this, knowing that it's going to make everything easier and hold everybody accountable. And if not, and if it's something that you really and truly believe in, consider footing the bill if you can get them to agree to use it. It just, if it's going to make your life that much easier, then it may be worth it to take on that expense. It's just an idea. And the same is true with the coaching and coaching programs. Sometimes co-parents don't want to do these programs together, but if you're interested in better developing your communication skills, if you're struggling with what to do with your alone time, if you're thinking about dating, do the coaching program on your own. It doesn't have to be done with your co-parent, and it can really and truly set you forward and help you at least do your side of the co-parenting part a little bit better and easier and more smoothly. And you never know, maybe your co-parent will come around. As time
That
goes
has
on, you
happened.
see that happen.
Yes. Yes, sometimes things mellow over time, and sometimes people mature over time and realize that their children need to be put first. It supersedes everything, your children's needs. So great advice. And, we do have one app that you can take a look at on DivorceTown USA in the marketplace, and that is called Our Family Wizard. And it's highly recommended by many attorneys that we work with and other professionals. So we encourage you to take a look at that as you compare among others, but you can find that in the marketplace of DivorceTownUSA.com. So we also have a list of vetted DivorceTown USA specialists, and all of them have written articles again or participated in our webinar series or even recent episodes of this show. So we'll just let you take a look at that here, but you can find them all at DivorceTownUSA.com. And I don't mean to keep banging that drum, but we do want you to know where you can find things. And we try to make it easy for you, putting them all in the resources tab. You can find articles there, videos, and in the marketplace, you can find products and programs. And so, for instance, in our webinar, Protection Essentials for Divorce, we had Deborah Wilder, PhD, one of our therapist specialists, who walked us through each age group and what a typical child's reaction is to divorce depending on their age. And you can find that on our YouTube channel. And Andrew Mcconaughey was our guest on the show 2 weeks ago, and he is also a therapist among many acronyms and titles. And he talked about the upside down divorce process that he and his wife Tracy have created. And we encourage you to watch that episode as well. It's a fascinating new way to go through divorce by getting the parenting plan done first and then working on the financials, therefore taking the children out of the equation so they can't be used as pawns, and then having legal counsel along the way and having the attorneys draft the final paperwork for you and file it with the court. So that's why hence they call it the upside down divorce. But there are different avenues, different ways to come into divorce, and that is one of them. So next
I did
up,
want to mention,
yes.
Sorry, Lisa, I did want to mention that when you look at this particular list, you'll see that a lot of our professionals are located in the state of Georgia. However, that doesn't mean that you can't benefit from their expertise, because all of them, as Lisa mentioned, they've all written articles. They've all been participants in webinars that you can watch for free on our YouTube channel. They've all participated. Well, not all of them, but they will have all participated in this show at some point. And so they are such a great resource, even if you're not located locally, and even if you can't reach out to say you really like, maybe you want to know more about what Will Smith does, for example. not the TV personality or rap star,
We've
but
got our own Will Smith.
our vetted therapist. You can still see the articles and other things that they've participated in and contributed, because they want you to have this information, even if you aren't able to work with them on a professional level. And so that's one of the reasons why DivorceTown USA was created, was to offer these types of services and resources to people, no matter where you're located in the world. And for those of you who are interested in coaching, Rosalind Sadaka, who is the founder of International Child-Centered Divorce Month, which is this month, also works internationally. So it wouldn't matter where you live in the world, as long as you, I don't know how many languages she speaks, but you can definitely work with Rosalind. So definitely that's also another option. One thing I did want to, Elisa, if it's okay, I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about that parenting plan that you had mentioned in the beginning, because we had talked about being age appropriate. And one of the things I just wanted to point out was Deborah Wilder, who I think you mentioned was in a webinar, sorry, I'm looking back through my notes, Webinar Protection Essentials for Divorce on the YouTube channel. She actually, when she went through that, talked about how kids react to divorce at different stages of their life and what age groups they are. I think you mentioned that. Mm-hmm. So that might be something helpful to watch while you're thinking about what type of parenting plan you want to put in place. Are your kids giving you those types of reactions? Are they responding in a typical way, or maybe an atypical way that might trigger you to think maybe they need some additional help or some additional emotional support? So those parenting plans, what works at 6 months old, when babies are usually primarily dependent on mom, is definitely not going to work when they're 14. So having flexibility is so important.
Absolutely. And that's why, having someone, a parenting plan specialist who understands that, children's needs are going to morph and change, and be able to write that plan broad enough to cover your needs, but also allow for the change in the child as they grow, as they mature. Their needs are going to be different, like you said, from a young baby, a young child, to a teenager. And you need the specifics in some ways, but you also need to have that broad stroke that can allow for the adaptability of the plan to grow with the child and the family. And so those are great points, Marcella. See why I love us working together on this show. We just bounce ideas off each other all day long. We enjoy working together on client cases, everything we do. We just really complement each other in that way. And when you're working with the right people, you can find that complement in your life, that synchronicity. And so, reach out and look at some of the videos, read some of the articles. You'll find someone who you feel in sync with, and they may be able to guide you to someone else if they aren't able to service you in this area. Most of our coaches work internationally, so that shouldn't be an issue. And therapists have a vast network of resources where they can help you find someone in your local area if you're not here in Georgia where we're based. So thank you for those points, Marcella.
Sorry about that.
No, you keep talking.
What you said triggered something else when we were talking about somebody that with our network. Like, for example, I'm just going to point out Tracy Mcconaughey, because we've got our professionals listed on the screen. She's what's called a registered play therapist and also a positive discipline trainer. That is not a specialty that a lot of people have. So if that's something that you think might work for your child, or if your child has special needs, emotional needs while they're facing this transition of divorce and family, maybe you're not in Georgia, but reach out to Tracy and ask her, does she know of any other people with those credentials outside of Georgia? Because the chances are it's not a huge network. And so the fact of the matter is, for example, Lisa, as a certified divorce financial analyst, has a network of CDFAs all over the country because they work together. They go to conferences together. And through time and through experience, you develop relationships with people who have the same values as you. It's why Lisa and I have worked together for now almost 7 years, because I know that when it comes to a couple with children, even though Lisa works in the financial world, I know that if we get a couple with children, she's going to encourage that couple to put those kids first, even before what we do, which is finances. And I believe in that and I advocate that. And so that's why we work well together. But the same is true for all of the professionals in the network, and they will have those same types of connections with others. So we really, truly do encourage you to reach out to them because they may not be the one, but they may know the one who is just right for you and in your area.
Absolutely. And thank you for that, Marcella. Yeah, we do share the same values. And so many of the people in our network, so do they. And that's why they're here, because we personally vet them and know them, or they come from others who are of the same mindset, you know, putting families first, and improving the way America divorces one family at a time. That's really what this is all about. And so we're going to encourage you to take a look out there, folks. There are many great resources. You don't have to do this alone. You don't have to be alone. It's a hard enough job raising children. So if we can help you and guide you in any way, please feel free to reach out to us through DivorceTownUSA.com. Marcella, we also have some other resources that we wanted to talk about. And I'm going to let you follow up with that here.
Sure. So here on your screen, you can see the DivorceTown roadmap. So this is a free download that you can access right from the homepage of DivorceTown USA. And what it's a map, obviously, but it comes with an ebook that walks you through what some of these different streets are in DivorceTown. So for example, what is Put Kids First Parkway? How do you start a divorce that's child-centered? Maybe you don't have kids, or maybe you've already kind of resolved some of your parenting issues and you want to start your divorce with the financial aspect of things. Usually that's the most complicated part of divorce. So how do you do that? Where do you go? How do you start a financials first type of divorce? Maybe you both agree you want to work cooperatively. How do you do it? Where is Amicable Avenue? How do you find it? And who are some of the experts that work within that network? This will help you get there. Obviously, the bottom right-hand corner of this town is where nobody wants to go. It's a dead-end street. It costs a ton of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy, and you can't recoup any of it very, very often. And so you can't recoup the time or the energy, and you may be able to recoup the cost, but it's still probably going to cost you more than it's worth to go to court and have a lengthy trial. That much we've learned from the hard way. Yeah. As a paralegal for like Lisa said, for 10 years, the healthiest divorces end in a settlement if it's possible, because that's just better for everybody whenever it is possible.
That's why, Marcella, you know, we know that 99% of divorces, even those headed to trial, settle many times on the courthouse steps, because attorneys know that it's a crapshoot. It depends on the judge or the jury that you're in front of, and you got a 50-50 chance of getting the outcome that you want. And so before you spend a lot of money to get all the way to the courthouse steps, why not try to settle it and not have paid a lot in legal fees in preparation for that jury trial? You know, the average divorce in America is between $15,000 to $25,000 per spouse, and can take, in Georgia here, the average I'm told is about 18 months. There are far easier ways to go through this, less expensive, less time consuming, and less sanity sucking, to be honest, right? Let's talk about how much that's worth. You can't put a price on your mental health. So this ebook that we've written this roadmap will give you the pros and cons of the different options that we'll put out there, that we show you, and you can decide which way is best for you and your family, where you want to begin, and what you need to know before you start into DivorceTown on this journey.
Absolutely. And one thing that we can't stress enough is that when you start to assemble your divorce team, whichever way you decide to start it, please look for people, first of all, with credentials, specialties in divorce that already have experience in divorce. And we strongly encourage you to look for settlement-minded professionals. You don't want people who are looking to fight. You want people who are looking to help you get your best outcome. Now, sometimes that requires a fight. So you are looking for people who will fight for you if you have to, but you don't want that to be your first option. That's really
absolutely
last case scenario whenever possible.
Yeah, it's best to have someone who can be a hawk or a dove, right?
Yeah.
They can take it either way, but they don't want to start with the gloves on, ready for Duke It Out Drive and Bigger Bucks Boulevard. You know, that just leads you down that path. And the other thing about that is that if one of you hires that type of attorney, then it's game on for both of you. So it's important that your spouse understand what this experience can be getting into it, that you both have to be on board with finding settlement-minded attorneys, those who want to work together amicably. Because I have seen folks, and you've probably seen this too, Marcella, but I've seen people have to divorce their divorce attorneys. I've also seen people who find out their spouse and they are wanting to get an amicable divorce, but the attorneys have their own battles going on, their own egos wrapped up in things. Maybe they lost a case against one another before, and now they're, out to win this time, whatever that means. And so you have to be really careful who you select, and your spouse as well, so that you can keep control, you and your spouse, of the process, and understand that there are different ways that you can go about this and, find what's right for you.
Absolutely. Thank you for that reminder. So important. So this is another free resource we want to offer to you. This one's actually found at Divorce Money Matters. Again, right on the homepage, one click, super easy. This is another book that Lisa's written, an ebook to help get you started financially. What documents do you need to assemble? Where should they be stored? When you do get ready to meet with an attorney, what are you going to ask that person? What should you be asking that person? And basically, this is really going to help kind of get you organized from a financial side of things before you even start the process. And should you find yourself already in the middle of the process, go ahead and download the financial fitness kit anyway and see where you are compared to what Lisa suggests in the ebook. And just make sure that you're headed in the right direction and that you've got what you're going to need going forward in the process, wherever that may be. Just another little tip.
Absolutely. And they say how you start your divorce is likely how you're going to end it. So start smart. Start smart. We want you to start smart and work through the process smartly. This is your life. Be the CEO of your divorce. Be a proactive partner, not a passive participant. That's what all of this is about. That's why we do what we do, so that you can be wise in the whole process and understand what you're getting into and how you're coming out of it.
Exactly. Well, we're coming down to just the last minute. So quickly, we do want to let you know about this last resource. It is a support group. It is virtual. It is free. You can find it on meetup.com and search the Divorce, Health, and Hope group. Or you can also get to it from DivorceTown USA if you don't remember the link. No worries. We do want to let you know what we have coming up next week. We're going to be joined by a special guest, Mike Mastracchi, family law attorney and divorcee himself. He's already been through this process, and author of the book that you see there on your screen, How to Stop Fighting Over the Kids. He's going to help us resolve day-to-day custody conflict with his extremely practical and sometimes lighthearted approach based on his personal and professional experience. So you'll definitely want to come back and join us next week. So we hope that you have found this episode of the Divorce Do's and Don'ts Show helpful. We look forward to seeing all of you next week, same place, same time. As always, and as Lisa said, we are committed to helping America divorce better. And indeed, internationally, one family at a time. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. We look forward to seeing you next week.